Well, what's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Lady J.
And it's your girl, LuvLuv. And this is the Mind His Business Show.
All right. This is Gospel Music Omaha 100.3 FM, Omaha, Nebraska's only urban gospel FM radio station. We are glad and overjoyed to tell you that this is our anniversary. You know that Tony, what is that, Tony song? It's our anniversary. It's our radio anniversary. As of, if you're listening to this live, our 9-year anniversary of going live on the air officially was on August 1st. So it was August 1st, 2017 that we went on air officially for the very first time. We had a little bump earlier than that where we went live previous to, but I don't really count that. When we first officially, everything was in order and we officially went live, it was August 1st, 2017. So we've been around for a hot minute.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully I don't have too many more grays to account for doing this for 9 years. I hope I don't know. Do you see more grays in my hair now?
Yes, I do.
No, I don't. No.
And
You
I'll
were
be
supposed
frank,
to say no.
No, but
you were supposed to say you still look the same.
No, what I'm supposed to say is, even though you have the grays, you still look beautiful.
Hey, these are my wisdom highlights.
You're still gorgeous.
And I don't sweat. I glisten.
Look, I full on sweat, okay? Especially since I don't have my Dios anymore. Man. We love all of you. We miss all of you. We come in town and we leave out of town, and sometimes it's exhausting, but we're getting our rest in between, and we're doing the very best that we can. Thank you for sticking with us through it all.
You know that you know I'm a professional power napper, right?
And I hate it.
I
have to go an hour and a half, or
you give me 15 to 20 minutes, I'm good.
And she'll wake up
and
in 15,
ready to go.
But how many years have you trained your body?
Oh
to
man,
do
I've
that?
been doing that for years, and that's
over
all you
20
need.
over 20 years now. I haven't. I sleep an hour and a half. I don't know why.
But you know what? You want to know the part that really is remarkable about it?
What?
Is I can take 2-3 power naps throughout the course of the day and still sleep 8 hours at night.
That's true.
But
now something she can't do that I can do is I wake up every day, no matter what, faithfully at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. She does it. She be snoring, calling home the cows. I be like, how can she sleep like that? But that's from my dad being military.
Well, I think it's important that we listen to our bodies. And sometimes when your body needs rest, you can't schedule rest.
But it's true. I be tuckered out. When we get done with this, usually around that 7:30, I'm ready to hit the bed. I'm ready to go.
Well, sometimes you can't schedule rest. You know, like our jobs, we have jobs. A lot of us out here, we are employed, right? We have employment, and they do expect us to be at a certain place at a certain time on a certain day for a certain amount of hours.
It's true.
And sometimes, if you're fortunate enough to have a job that gives you vacation time or PTO or sick time,
you better
or
take
whatever,
it. Take it while you can.
It's
because some people say that if they don't use it, they lose it.
They put so many restrictions sometimes on. Well, you can't take it during this time because this is our busy season, and you can't take it during this time because it's our this is where the end of the quarter, and you have to be here for the end of the quarter, and sometimes we just push and push and push and push. I'm just here to tell you, if you have PTO or sick days, it's okay to take a day. If you need to rest, go ahead and rest. That job's gonna be there when you go back tomorrow,
and they're gonna be there if you don't go back.
And they're gonna continue. They're gonna
Unless
continue
they do
on
away with the whole thing.
They are gonna continue
That's a different
on.
type of problem.
And I'm not saying abuse the privilege. That's not what I'm getting at.
If those are the days that you have accumulated, it's not abusing it.
I'm just saying that sometimes if your body needs to rest and you keep pushing, we have a hustle culture that says, you know, grind and shine. You got to get up and you got to get it and you got to work and you got to hustle. But did you know the Bible says that God grants rest or sleep to his beloved?
That's right.
Are you God's beloved? Does he love you? Because if he does, he grants you rest. Let me find that. God grants sleep or rest to his beloved. Let me pull that up real
Man,
quick.
I hated that Oprah Winfrey show called Beloved. It was awful.
I'm sorry, I'm squinting.
When you say the word beloved, it reminds me of that. It's a terrible
So it's
show.
Psalms. Here we go. It's Psalms 127, and I think that'll be a good place for us to kick things off here.
Yeah.
Let me put it up here on the screen if you're watching this on video. It says in Psalms 127, starting in verse 1, except the Lord, that's the Most High, except the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that build it.
Mm-hmm.
Except the Lord keeps the city, the watchman wakes, but in vain. So, if you're building something in your life that's not godly, you're laboring in vain to build it. You're wasting in other words, you're wasting your efforts. You're wasting your time. If it's not something that God has commissioned, or if it's something that you're doing in unrighteousness, or you're building something on a false foundation, unless the Lord builds that house, they labor in vain that build it. When you say you labor in vain, that means you're working, but that work all comes to nothing. It doesn't amount to anything. It's in vain. You're doing it, but it's not going to matter in the big scheme of things. That's what it means when it says they labor in vain that build it. Doesn't mean vain like you're arrogant. It means that your efforts are not going to produce the fruit that you're hoping. So we want to always, first of all, evaluate on a regular basis, is this really what the Lord would have me doing right now?
Just like it says, don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Don't make it of no effect.
Don't make it of no effect. It's better.
Don't pretend that you're on his team and you're really not on his team.
That's right. Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk.
It will be of no effect. So it says here, Psalm 127, except or unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that build it.
That's right.
Unless or except the Lord keeps the city, the watchman wakes in vain. So
you know what? You have to explain what a watchman is, because they may not know.
I'm about to.
Okay, good.
I'm about to break it down.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm breaking it down.
Let's go.
Let's go. So in ancient times, when you would have a city, you would build a wall around that city. And
a great wall.
And you've seen this probably in old TV shows where it was set in the past, and they would have the city, or they would have a castle, and they would have a wall around it. So in ancient times, they would have a wall. Literally, that would be a border to protect the city. And on top of that border or that wall, they would have watchmen that would go up and they would stand on the wall at the tops of the wall. So if an enemy or an invader was coming to oppose the city or invade the city or attack the city, the watchmen would see them from afar off and be able to warn the people in the city so that they could mount their defense. So you'd have to take shifts, because no one can stay up 24 hours a day. So you'd have your day shift, and then you would have your overnight shift.
Well, some can stay up for 24 hours, but they should only do it just that, because my dad's military, and my dad said they had to learn how to sleep with their eyes open.
I think we all understand nuance.
Okay.
We get nuance, okay?
Okay.
So you would have a night watchman, and they would, and that was their job. They'd be up all night long, and their whole job was to keep watch. Kind of like your night security guard. Some of y'all work security out there. You know what I'm talking about. And you got to walk the grounds, and it's like 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, and you doing your best to try to stay awake. But you have to be alert, because you're there to protect the property and the people that are on that property. Well, that's what the watchman would do to the city. So here it says unless the Lord is keeping the city, the watchman wakes in vain. He stays up at night. It's not going to be effective. If God is not blessing and protecting that city, it doesn't matter if the watchman is on the wall. That's what this is getting at here. That you can build all the protection mechanisms you want to keep a hold to your wealth, to your power, to your influence. You can do all of that. But if the Lord is not involved in that activity that you're doing, all of the things that you're doing to protect your position, your money, your power, your influence, your control, all those things that you're doing to maintain what you got, if you did not attain it in a way that is God approved, if he's not keeping charge over you because you're not doing something righteously, it doesn't matter what protection mechanisms you put. And that's what this is getting at. Unless the Lord keeps the city, the watchman wakes, but in vain. It's like saying, if I stole a bunch of money and I decided that I'm going to hide it in the safe house, or I'm going to hide it at Auntie house up in her attic, or whatever it is. You can do all those things, but eventually it's going to be found out. It's going to be it's not going to work, because if God is not putting his protection on what it is that you're doing, the things you're doing to try to hold on to that power or wealth or money, influence, or control, eventually it is going to fail. That's the essence of what he's getting at here. So in verse 2, it says, it is vain, it's vanity, for you to rise, get up early, and to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep. Other translations, they say it a little bit differently, but this will work for us.
Some of y'all look old because y'all ain't had no sleep.
So some of us, we getting up early in the morning and we staying up late at night. And it says to eat the bread of sorrows. The bread of sorrows is, it says, that word sorrow in the Hebrew is etseb. I'm not pronouncing it right. Etseb. And it means an earthen vessel, usually painful work or toil. Also a pang. Have you ever got a pang? That's like when you get that crick or that little catch. That's a pang.
I hate
or
that.
How about a hunger pang? Have you ever had a hunger pang where all of a sudden your stomach was like, oh, I'm hungry, I need some food? That's a pang. So this word etseb is a painful work, or a body pang, or pain in the mind, grievous, idle labor, or sorrow. So if we take that idea and we break this down a little bit, it is vain, or it will come to no effect for you to get up early and stay up late so that you can eat the bread of sorrows, that you're working for something that is a pain, or you're toiling for something that is not blessed by the Lord in context, because we're following verse 1, so the context has already been set.
Some of y'all just workaholics.
So
I'm telling it like it is. Some of y'all are workaholics. Y'all won't go to sleep. You won't give your body the rest that it needs. You wake up and you do it all over again. When you get older, you're going to wish you had not done that.
So you're right, love, is that sometimes the effects of that toil, that vanity of all of that work, it doesn't manifest itself until it bears fruit later.
I mean, we used to produce until the late and wee hours. I said, I have to stop this. I cannot. I had to stop this.
So if you watch the TikToks and all the other social media, they always say you got to get up at 5 in the morning if you're going to be successful. And you got to put in your 12 to 16 hour days, and you got to be single focused, and you got to become a monk for 6 months and shut everybody out for 6 months until you build this thing and you win. And that's the promise that they say. Somebody's in the chat. Hey,
Shar, what's going on? Hey.
And they say that, well, you got to do all this grind in order to be successful. And from the world's point of view, that makes sense, because if you're working more and working harder than someone else, then you would like to think that you're going to have more results than someone else. But y'all have heard me say it many times. It does not matter how high you climb the ladder if it's leaned against the wrong wall.
That's it.
And so, yes, it's important to rise at an appropriate time to be able to accomplish the things that God has purposed for you to accomplish. Yes, you should not be lazy. Yes, you should work through to completion whatever the projects or the things are that you have in front of you. Yes, all those things are true. But if you're doing like what this verse says, it's vanity. If you're getting up early and you're staying up late, and at the end of it, you're going to eat basically sorrow because you're not doing what God has called you to be doing.
Yeah.
Then that's vanity. It will not be of any effect. And then he ends it off by saying, for he gives his beloved sleep. He gives rest to his beloved.
Do you know what the word sleep really is about? Sleep is about your body rebuilding itself. It's autophagy. It's about the body rebuilding itself so that you can be at your best.
Come on.
See, a lot of people got this. I could shake this stomach at you right now. Okay. And that's because I lost the weight so fast. But I lost that weight so fast because I wanted to live and not die. Okay, to proclaim the glory of the Lord. And I lost that weight. But what I didn't know is when you lose it that fast, it hangs. And
what's that got to do with sleep?
Well, what I'm saying is a lot of that weight came off also because I was going to bed at the acceptable time, not eating late. Because some people be eating late. You be eating late. And then you be eating some greasy catfish. And I shouldn't make us hungry right now. But you be eating greasiest foods, and then you going to sleep on it, and you're belching up at night.
Acid reflux.
Y'all know
laying in the bed and you wake yourself up.
Yeah, because you done burped up some grease. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. I know I love you, and I'm telling you the truth. But you burping that up, and it smells, and you're choking and everything else. You're sleeping on the wrong side of your body.
So I'm going to add.
Yeah.
I'm going to add a little bit to what you were saying. You said that sleep is when your body repairs itself.
That's correct.
And I'm going to expound on that just a little bit more. So when your body is up and it's in motion, there are lots of things happening. Your brain is working. Your body's in motion one way or another. You're moving. You're consciously thinking about things. You are. You're concerned about things, maybe. You're worried about things. You're planning things. You're strategizing. You're focusing on things. And your body is using everything that's available to it while you're doing that. When you are at rest, when you are sleeping, your body, because it doesn't have to put that energy toward being in motion or conscious thought or planning or strategizing, it does this repair process where the cell damage can start to be worked out, where your subconscious thoughts or your unconscious thoughts are still working, because that's what dreams really are all about. Is your dreams are your subconscious continuing to work on issues while your conscious mind is at rest. And you can come up with a lot of insight by paying attention to your dreams if you happen to remember them. Now, I'm not talking about that from a psychic or a new age or an astrology point of view at all.
No way.
But there are many instances in scriptures where people have had dreams, and those dreams were provided by God to bring a message that needed to be brought to the person who had the dream or the people affected by the person who had the dream. One major example would be Pharaoh, when Joseph was in jail and Pharaoh had a dream, and he had a dream about there were 7 fat cows and they were swallowed up by 7 skinny, emaciated cows. And he was asking everyone in the kingdom, can anyone help me to understand what's the meaning of this dream?
Interpret the dream.
And Joseph had become well known for God giving him insight about people's dreams.
Yes.
And so he got called up, and he told Pharaoh that the dream meant that there were going to be 7 years of abundance in the land of Egypt, and that would be followed by 7 years of extreme famine. And so he took the insight that God had given Joseph and set in motion a plan to preserve food and to store things up, and everyone in the nation had to store up for that 7 years. And that's actually why the Hebrews ended up going into slavery, because during the 7 years of famine, they didn't have any food, and the only people around that had food were the Egyptians. And so first year they bought the food. Then the second year they said, we don't have any money to buy food, but we'll give you our land and our resources. Then the next year they said, well, we don't have any resources, so we'll give you our land. And then after that they said, we still don't have any resources, so we'll sell ourselves into slavery. Just make sure that we don't starve to death. And that's how the Egyptians had the Hebrews in slavery to begin with. Now that particular Pharaoh, because he was working with Joseph and Joseph became second in command, he was good to the Hebrews, even though they sold themselves into slavery in order to eat. But when that Pharaoh moved on and the next Pharaoh came in,
when that Pharaoh died,
he didn't have that same relationship, and so
didn't.
the slavery continued.
Meaner than a bandit.
So this story is not about Hebrews and slavery. It's about the importance of rest, so that your body can recover and recuperate, so that your mind can slow down and rest. Because rest is not just only resting your body, it's also resting your mind.
That's right.
And some things that you can do to rest your mind is, number one, trust that God's going to work it all out.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, the scripture says, casting your cares upon him, for he cares for you. Let me pull that one up, because that's a famous verse
Casting
right there.
All. He didn't just say casting your
It's
cares.
First Peter.
He said casting all your cares upon
So
him.
it says here, First Peter chapter 5. We'll run there real quick. It says in verse 6, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may lift you up or exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him.
See, all. That word all.
For he cares for you. And then moving on after that, that's where it talks about be sober and be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, like a roaring lion, walks about seeking whom he may devour, whom you should resist steadfastly in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren all around in the world. But the God of all grace, who has called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after you've been patient for a little while. That word there, it says after you've suffered a while. Suffer can also mean to just be patient. Will make you mature or perfect, establish you, strengthen you, and settle you. To him be the glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Now going back in context, rest, mental rest. Number one step in mental rest, aside from physical, like literally shutting your mind off because you're sleeping, is to cast your concerns onto God, because you know that he's taking care of you no matter how the situation looks. So it starts here with first, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. Humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. Not just humble yourself and just let stuff happen to you, but humble yourself under him, because he has a mighty hand. When someone has a mighty hand, that means they have power. Whenever you see someone's mighty hand in scripture, or you see their hand, that hand symbolizes work, effort, power, strength. That's what the hand represents. So when it says humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that means he's going to do the work. He's going to handle it. He's strong enough to take care of it.
That word humble is so important. That word humble. Because a lot of you are not humble at all. A lot of you are just prideful. And
Right.
it's not confidence. There's a difference between being confident and just being prideful, arrogant, rude, mean.
That word humble here is tapinoo, which is to depress or press down, or in a figurative sense,
Come on.
to abase yourself, to bring yourself low, to humble yourself. In other words,
I'd rather be humble to God. Okay,
That's
I'd
the
rather
only-
be humble to Him than anybody else.
right, you don't
Real talk.
You don't debase yourself and make yourself
Show
low
little because of
to abusers
No.
or people who take advantage of you. You are not a
Nope.
doormat.
Nope.
That's not your job to lay down so that their feet don't get dirty.
and just take
They
it.
walk
No.
on your back so their feet
Like
don't
you
get
a
dirty.
slave, like you and I
That's-
mean that literally. Like you know, they used to take a lot of the white folks in them used to take their feet and warm they feet on black folks' body. You know, we're not supposed to be debased like that. That's debasing someone.
Right, but if I'm humbling myself under the mighty hand of God,
That's
what that
right.
means is that God's hand,
He's a
God
good father.
has the ability, the strength, and the means and the will to take care of whatever situation I'm dealing with. And it says, so you humble yourself under His hand so that He will lift you up in due time.
In
Now,
due
this is
season.
important. This is important. That God is going to pull you up out of your situation, but it's in due time when He deems that the time is right. Some of us are very impatient, and that's what causes the worry, and your mind is spinning because you're not patient. You want it done right now. You want it done yesterday, and you want it done the way you want it to be done. And that's not what this verse is saying here. In 1 Peter 5, starting in verse 6, when you humble yourself under His mighty hand, that means you trust He gonna get it done the way it needs to be done. It's gonna be done right, and you just need to be patient. He will bring you out of that situation or exalt you. To exalt someone means to
Yes.
lift them up.
Yes.
Like you remember the Lion King, when the monkey lifted up the little baby lion and he put him up in the air. Well, He exalted. That's what that word means, to lift up and to show gloriously, to show victoriously. I'm lifting. He's going to lift you up. He's going to
But-
show that you're victorious.
He wasn't lifting himself up.
no,
He was being held
he was
up.
being held up by the mighty
by
hand.
that mighty right.
I mean, in the movie, it was the hand of the monkey.
Right,
But
in
it's
this
the
case-
same. It's the same sort of allegory
Right,
that
right,
God is capable of lifting you up. His hand is mighty. That's what it
right.
says here.
That's right.
He will exalt you, but in due time.
Season,
You
yes.
don't always get to choose how He solves your problem, when He solves your problem, or with what
so stop
means
telling
He
him
solves
how to
your
do
problem.
it. Stop telling him how to do this. I need you to do it like that. And I need you. No, you need to shut up and need to sit down and let Him
Humble
handle
yourself.
it. Humble yourself before the Lord thy God.
And if it seems like it's taking longer than you think it should take, it's taking exactly as long as God needs it to take. And we're not God, so we don't get to choose that. That's why it says in due time.
Yes.
In due time, it's kind of like when do you get your paycheck? On Fridays? You go check in your bank account, and it's always there Friday morning at 8 a.m. or whatever time it hit your bank, right? That means that the time that it was due was Friday at 8 a.m. Now, if it ain't there, if it's not there by 8:15, aren't you on the phone talking to your boss, talking about where my check? Because it was due at that time. So when this says God is going to exalt you in due time, that means that He determines when the time is that He's going to resolve or give you the insight you need for that situation.
What Hebrew word is that for do?
Due?
Yeah.
Kairos, it's an opportunity or a due season, or it's for a while. So there is a season that you're in right now, and God is using His mighty hand to work that season so that you can move into the new season when it's due time, when the time is right.
Yes.
That's when.
Man,
and you can't rush that process.
Man, when I'm making a bundt cake or I'm making a 7-Up cake, you know, you can't take that 7-Up cake out of the oven.
You better not.
Okay.
That thing gonna go.
Yes.
Or what is that that they make where it has to be just right?
Souffle.
Is it a souffle
It's a
or a
souff-
tiramisu?
It's
What is it? A souffle? Yeah. So for those of you out there that cook, you know that it must be in due time. You must have everything has to be just right. The temperature, the heat.
Nobody
the
come in stomping. Don't nobody come in stomping.
Nothing,
if you mad, don't come over my house when I'm cooking
if
a
you
souffle.
do, that souffle will go flat, and all that work will be for nothing. And if you try to rush God's process of getting you the repositioning that you're hoping for, it's going to be like a souffle. It ain't going to work. It's going to be in vain. Your labor will be in vain. This is we're tying it all together here. And then in verse 7 it says, casting all your care upon him. When someone has cares, that means in modern times we say they worried. Their mind is troubled. They got stuff on their mind.
You got to cast your bills. You got to cast it all on them.
So that word care is merimna, which means it's through the idea of distraction or care, or like I said, you're worried to the point where you can't focus. Some of y'all out there, you're so worried about whatever you got going on that you literally cannot focus on whatever it is that is important to focus on.
Or sometimes you can't sleep. See?
And it robs you of your rest.
It robs you of your sleep.
And so you're doing mental labor. Hello. You're doing mental labor to the point where you can't even allow your body to rest because your mind is doing mental labor. But like we said in the Psalms earlier, unless the Lord is building the house, those that labor in vain. Some of you are doing mental labor, and it's like you clocking in on that worry like it's a full-time job. You thinking about it over and over and over again. I should have said this. I should have said that. And why didn't I think of this? And why didn't I do that? And oh man, and you're going through it over and over again, or
you're rehearsing it, what you could have, what you should have,
or you're thinking
you just
about
can't. You just can't.
Well, what about this? And what if that?
You can't go back in time.
And what about this? And what about that? And well, if I try this thing that I feel God is telling me to do, but well, what if it fails? Or what if I don't have the money? Or what if they think I'm stupid, or I get embarrassed, or I'm too old, or whatever? You start giving excuses. So they say that depression is having concerns and cares about the past. Worry is having concerns and cares about the future. And we're not supposed to live in the past or the future.
And if you fail forward. Don't fail back.
Notice here in verse 7, it says, casting all your care upon him because he cares for you. That word casting, that is if you took English class, you know, if you're casting something, that means you're in the process of doing it actively.
Do you know what Jesus has said? For them to cast their net on the other side of the boat.
Well, hold on now. Don't leave where we're
all
at.
Right, but I mean, when they did that, when they casted what he said do,
if
they reaped,
you're
great.
Right. You're right. I can follow along with what you're saying.
That's what I just don't want to forget that.
When he told them to cast, and that's another passage we have to pull up. But he told them cast the net at a certain spot on the side of the boat.
Right.
And when they did it, there was so much blessing in it, there were so many fish in it, that they had a hard time pulling the net back into the boat because there was so much blessing that came with their obedience to cast it where he told them to cast it.
Right.
So now pairing what you just said, Love, thank you for that. It's a great note.
Thank you.
With what we have here in 1 Peter 7, he's telling you where to cast your care.
That's right.
He's saying cast your care on him.
Yes.
Why? Because he cares for you. And he's going to bring you the blessings in abundance that you need if you cast where he tells you to cast.
Many days later.
So let me pull together this note that I had here about casting. Casting is let me give you the correct English. I don't care. y'all don't care. Y'all been out of high school. You don't care. And if you're in high school,
Yes,
you can
they
ask your
care.
teacher. So in the English language, we have several what are called verb tenses, right? So if I say cast, that's just the regular verb. If I say will cast, that's future tense. If I say I casted is a bad example, but
Okay.
I casted it, that's past tense. If I say I'm casting it, that's present. Oh Lord, y'all type it in the chat. I think it's present, active present tense. It gives the idea of a continual process. It's not something that just happens once. If I say I'm rowing the boat, that means I'm actively doing it continually until I stop. And once I stop, then I say I rowed the boat, ROWED. Before I start, I say I will row the boat. But when I'm actively in the process of doing it, I am rowing the boat. Okay? So now look at this word here in 1 Peter 5:7. It says casting
Come on.
all your care upon him. It doesn't say you need to do it in the future. You will cast your cares on him. It doesn't say you cast it back then and you only had to do it that one time. It's saying casting your care upon him. Why? Because we worry about stuff all the time, don't we? We have cares about, we have cares and concerns about things continually. So therefore, I have to continually give it to him. I have to continually throw it up to him. Here, Lord, it's yours. You catch it. You take it. It's yours. I'm giving it to you. So remember, we're casting our care upon him continually, not just one time. You can't just pray one time and be like, yep, Lord, I'm giving it to you, because sometimes we be wanting to take it back, don't we? I gave my worry to you, but now I'm worried about it again. And like I was saying before, depression is you're having cares and concerns about the past. Anxiety is when you're having cares and concerns about the future. So if something happened in the past and you're doing mental labor about that thing that happened in the past, unless the Lord builds the house, those that labor in vain. Because God gives rest to those who he gives rest to his beloved.
That's right.
So keep casting that concern on him. That thing that happened, that thing that's unresolved, that breakup that you didn't get a chance to understand why they broke up with you, or why they ghosted you, or why they fired you, or why they hurt you, or why they betrayed you. Whatever it is, those are. I'm not saying the concerns are not legitimate. Yes, that really happened. But what are we as believers in the mighty hand of God supposed to do? We're supposed to keep giving it to him, keep casting it to him, keep directing it his way. Lord, you know, Lord, you can resolve it. Lord, I know that even if that situation never changes, I never get the apology, I'd never win the lawsuit, I'm all, for the rest of my life now, I have this injury, whatever it might be. Maybe those things are in the past, you can't change them. But what God will and can do for you is he can change your mind and your heart attitude toward what has happened. He can show you insight.
He can bring you resolve.
Heal you.
He can bring you
give you resolution.
Yes.
You can feel confident that he is the righteous judge. If they did something scuzzy, nothing has escaped his justice.
Nothing.
He's going to handle it the way he's supposed to.
He sure will.
In due time. There you go right here in 1 Peter 5:6. In due time.
Yes.
And maybe it's not going to happen when you want it to, but rest assured, nothing slips past God's view.
Unless they repent. Oh, payday coming after a while.
So let's go and look at this verse cast, because I like what you suggested. I do like that. We kind of off the cuff here with this. This is let's go and show them. I'm scrolling. Okay, so here we are. That's fine. I'm sorry I'm squinting, y'all. My eyes are, I got to give them a little contact situation done today. Okay. Cast your Boy, there's a lot of casting going on in the scripture. It says there are 493 references to the word cast.
Hey, we'll take it.
Good grief.
We'll take it.
Man, let me Google it. Hold on, because I'm not reading 493 instances with squinty eyes. We're not going to do that. So let me pull that up.
That's enough to make you believe it, though. if he has it in here that many times, 490. Yeah.
Come on, y'all. To
Over 490.
Okay, so,
Come on.
Jesus, cast your nets, fish. Here, we'll Google it, and it'll give us the verse, and then we'll keep it going. Okay, John. John 21:6. I was way back in Matthew. Well, no wonder I didn't find it. I had a long way to go. Okay, so let's head on up here.
If y'all want a really good search engine, DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is a very excellent search engine.
So, here's John chapter 21. And I'm going to breeze through the first part because this part of the story. After these things, Jesus was doing stuff, right? He showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias. And on this day, or on this wise, he showed himself. There were Simon Peter, Thomas, who was also called Didymus. Not Diddy. Didymus. There's a Diddy in the Bible. Oh, okay. Thomas called Didymus, and Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other of his disciples. Mm-hmm. Simon Peter said unto him, "Hey, I'm going fishing." And they said unto him, "Well, we'll go with you too." Now, this is Lady J's translation here. We're going to go with you too.
Like, where they say
that at? They said that in the hood, Galilee. Okay, anyway, they went forth, and they entered into a ship immediately. And that night, they didn't catch anything. It says they caught nothing. But when the morning arrived, Jesus stood on the shore. But the disciples didn't know that it was Jesus. So here's the scene. They said, "We going fishing." And when they didn't catch anything, Jesus is standing on the shore. Now, if you know anything about fishing, that was how a lot of them made their living. And so if you didn't catch anything, you didn't get paid, basically, because you didn't have any fish for anyone to buy at the market. So it was important that you catch something. And it wasn't a little bit. They were commercial fishermen. How do we know that? Because it says they entered into a ship. They didn't. There's a difference between a boat and a ship. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So a boat is generally speaking, y'all boat people out there, don't get mad at me. Generally speaking, a boat is relatively small. So it might only fit a few people on it. It's not designed for big stuff. But now a cruise ship, like we call it a cruise ship, or sometimes a yacht.
Luxury liner.
Big.
Whoa.
They can hold lots and lots of cargo, or a cargo ship. You've heard of, right now we've got this whole Strait of Hormuz, and these cargo ships can't go through there. They're designed to hold a lot. Mm-hmm. So we know they're not just going out there with a pole and a worm and saying, "Oh, let's do this for fun." No, they were out there trying to make a living. They're trying to get the check. So they were commercial fishermen because they got on a ship immediately. And not only did they get on the ship, but it was several guys. Because remember, Simon Peter said he's going fishing. Mm-hmm. And the other guys said, "We'll go with you too." Who was with them? Simon, Thomas, also called Didymus, and Nathanael, the sons of Zebedee, which we don't know how many there were.
Sons of Thunder.
It was at least 2 because it says it was plural, and 2 other disciples. So it was at least 7 guys.
Uh-huh.
Now, how much fish do you expect to catch? If you got 7, 8, 10 guys all getting on a ship, that means your expectation is y'all gonna make some big money.
Come on.
You're gonna get a lot of fish because you can't split 5 fish 8 ways. You know what I mean?
Come on.
Like if I'm going out and I'm trying to make money fishing, and I take 7 other dudes with me, we better be catching at least 8 times, 80, 800. Like, we better be catching enough fish so that all of us can split it up and make enough money to make it worth getting on the ship. And they probably had to pay the guy who was selling the ship in order to even run the business. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So that guy that had the ship, I'm sure they had to give him some capital up front to be able to even get out there and do it. So this is a fairly big operation. So when it says they didn't catch anything, we're not glossing over that. This was their livelihood. This was their check. This was how they fed their baby. This was how they fed their families. So this is not a little deal. This is a big deal, okay? Just like your problems, my problems, all of our situations, they're a big deal. They're not just little stuff. The stuff we're facing out here is big stuff, okay? These guys had big problems because if they didn't have enough money, and we don't know, Love, that would be a nice study. Maybe they were supposed to pay the guy on the ship with part of the catch. Because you know how that is somehow.
Interesting stuff.
That you know how that is sometimes. Well, hey, when I make money, you'll get a cut of it. You know how people make
when
deals
I make
like
money,
that?
you make money.
Right. So maybe they had a deal going with the guy on the ship to say, well, if you take us out there, we'll give you a cut of whatever we catch. So that would have been an even bigger problem if they didn't catch anything, because now you got the ship guy mad at you because he didn't get a cut, and he might not let you back on the ship next time you trying to fish. So this is definitely a big deal that they didn't catch anything. So now that you kind of have that story in your mind, now let's see what happens. In John 21 verse 4, it says, well, when the morning arrived, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples didn't know that it was Jesus. Then Jesus said to them, children, have you any meat? And they answered him, no. So here they are, they're yelling at each other. So they're out there far enough to get to the deep to catch the fish, but they're close enough that if someone yells from the shore, they can see and hear. So this conversation is occurring, but across the water.
Have you any meat?
Hey! And sometimes when we're going through a situation, it does feel like Jesus is far away, don't it? And sometimes it feels like, man, I know he's probably talking to me, but I'm having a hard time hearing him because he feels far away. And that's what's going on here. And sometimes Jesus is there, but you don't know that it's him for whatever reason. Because notice how he was on the shore, but it says plainly the disciples didn't know that it was him. So sometimes God is trying to bless you, and he's trying to get you out of your situation, or he's trying to give you the insight that you need. But if you don't recognize that it's him bringing you the message,
Come on.
you might be out there with no fish longer than you really need to be. Okay, so let's continue. So he said, children, have you any meat? They answered him, no. Verse 6, and he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and you shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it up because of the multitude of the fishes.
Wow.
Let me roll it back.
Wow.
So he said to them, cast the net on the right side of the ship. Now I know he means cast the net on the right hand side of the ship. But I like how we would say it. You need to cast on the right side of the ship. You need to make sure that whatever it is you're doing, you're not on the wrong side. That you're not doing dirt expecting God to bless you and expecting God to give you abundance, but you doing dirt. That'd be the equivalent of the quote on the left hand side.
I remember some people used to say, "Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong."
Right?
Don't get me on the wrong side.
So you want to cast your net on the right side of the ship. If you're doing dirt and you feeling messed up, well, guess what? You're going to feel messed up. God is not going to bless that. He know the little scam you got going behind the scenes. He know the little deal that you got set up. He know the little arrangement you got. He knows the little stuff you got going on. You think that nobody knows. He knows. And you wondering why you trying to make something happen and ain't nothing happening the way you want it to, or you keep trying and it seems like things just keep messing up and failing and all that. That's the equivalent of you casting your net and you're not catching nothing because you're not casting your net on the right side of the ship. You're playing around on the wrong side of the ship, and God is not going to bless that. Going back to what we said at the beginning, Psalm 127, where he says, unless the Lord builds the house, those that labor in vain. So he says, cast the net on the right side of the ship and you will find. How did Jesus know that all the fish would be on the right side of the ship?
Because he said so.
If he's standing on the shore, this is actually an example of his divinity, because without modern fishermen, we got all kind of instruments, right? We got sonar, and we got fish finders, and we got radar, and we got drones, and we got all kind of stuff to where we can try to know where the fish are on the water. But you can't automatically just know that if you're standing on the shore and you don't know where the fish are biting. Aside from just you have experienced fishing, I know some of y'all out there, y'all experienced fishermen, so I know y'all saying right now, yeah, you can. If you're there right before the sun rises, you go over here to this line over here, and that, yeah, I hear you. But in general, you can't just know exactly where a fish is going to be in a large body of water that is large enough for a ship now. Now, I want to remind you, we're not talking about Benson Park Lake. We're not talking about Benson Park Pond. We're not even talking about Cunningham Lake. We're talking about a body of water that was large enough that it could hold a ship.
Right.
So how are you standing on the shore going to know exactly not only where the fish are biting, but where exactly to put the net? You're not going to know that. This is one of the other instances that we can see of Jesus' divinity.
It's a miracle.
So they cast the net on the right-hand side. Number one, they were obedient. They listened to the guy.
Yes.
Which, why would they listen to a man that they don't know? They don't know it's Jesus, remember? Remember, it says the disciples didn't know that it was Jesus. But they had sense enough to say, well, it can't hurt. We tried all night long catching fish. We didn't catch anything. Some dude on the shore is telling us to put it on the right-hand side. So, okay, well, I mean, it can't be no worse. So they went ahead and cast it out on the right-hand side.
I wouldn't mind hearing Yeshua. Hey! I wouldn't mind him yelling, what?
So it says, so at this point, what do they have to lose but to trust this voice from afar? What difference would it make at that point? And for you, your situation,
that's obedient.
Your situation, you might not even see a way out. At which point in time, you might as well trust the Lord, because you don't see a way out anyway. So why not cast your cares on him? Why not trust him that, well, I mean, he gonna make a way. He gonna have to, because I don't see no way out. Whatever he say do, I guess I'll do that. See, it was his obedience that made the difference here.
Come on.
So it says, well, okay, we'll go ahead and cast it out there. It can't be no worse. I mean, they didn't have anything. So they could cast it out there and pull it back up and still have nothing. They haven't lost anything, but at least they tried. And some of us, we don't get anywhere because we don't even try. We talk ourselves out of doing something before we even do it. We've already talked ourselves out of it.
Or you get discouraged and say,
so
I'm too tired. I ain't doing this no more.
So whatever.
You give up. Don't give up.
Yeah. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, guess what? You're right. If you think you can, go for it. You're right. And if you think you can't, you're right. Because you won't if you think you can't. So you should abolish the word can't altogether. But anyway, so it says here they cast the net on the right-hand side. They listened to this stranger on the shore that how could he know? And they cast it out, and it said that there were so many fish in the net that they couldn't even pull it up out of the water.
Wow.
Now, don't forget, because we already set the stage, there was at least 7 guys there. And that doesn't count the captain of the ship.
Woo.
It doesn't count the deck hands on the ship. It doesn't count maybe there was more than 7 guys that got on the ship. So 10, 15, it could have been 10, 15, 20 guys trying to pull up a net that had so much fish in it.
No room to receive. That's how God bless you.
They couldn't even get it up.
Wow.
And God will do the same thing for you. He will bless you abundantly if you're casting your cares on him on the right side. Be on the right side now, not the wrong side, the right side. And then in verse 7, we're going to wrap this up. Therefore, that disciple whom Jesus loved said unto Peter, it's the Lord. They didn't know that it was him until after they followed directions. Some of y'all ain't blessed because you ain't following directions. God has moved upon you to do a certain thing, and you doing everything except the thing that he told you to do. And you're wondering why you're not getting blessed. You're not getting blessed because you're not following directions. He's not going to give you step D, E, and F if you have not completed step A, B, and C. It's as simple as that. He's waiting for you to be obedient. He told them, now they could have said, well, I mean, I know you saying cast the net over here, but we've been out here all night and we haven't caught anything, so we're not going to bother trying to put a net out there again. We tired. They could have said that, and guess what would have happened? Absolutely nothing. And then they would have came back to shore and they would have had all those financial problems that we talked about. Why? Because they simply didn't follow directions. Follow directions. You know what you're supposed to be doing, and it's probably the thing you've been avoiding doing. Whatever the thing is that you've been avoiding the most, that's probably the thing you're supposed to be doing. And everything else is going to open up for you when you do that thing, whether it's put down that habit or whether it's take that risk. And I'm talking positive risk. I'm not talking negative risk like criminal activity. I'm not talking about that. Y'all know what I mean when I say take the risk. Like take the courage to do the thing you've been afraid to do. That's what I'm talking about. Take the risk. Okay. So therefore the disciple said unto that disciple whom Jesus loved said unto Peter, it is the Lord. So these guys now are talking. They've figured out that it's him. Now when Simon
Look up
Peter,
that word Lord, would you? It's the
Lord. Yes, it's God.
What?
Jesus.
Look that word. Look. I just need to see what it says. Lord.
Kyrios, the Lord. Now, when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he fastened his coat because he was naked. Now, why he was naked, I don't know. I think I know why.
Was he pulling that hard?
He might have been.
No,
because
serious.
if it was that heavy,
I'm serious.
He might have been. Y'all get your minds out of the gutter. He probably
Something might have came loose.
Yeah, it might have been a problem with them trying to get the stuff up into the ship. Now we could do a deeper study on that, but that's not the point of this study. So it says that he took his coat and he cast himself into the sea. Well, wait a minute.
Don't want it to hold you down.
Right. He had to take it off.
Yeah.
Because you can't swim with clothes on, you'll drown.
It's very difficult.
That's why we wear swimming suits and we don't wear boots and coats when we get into the swimming pool.
Yeah,
so that's what's going on here. He had to let go of everything. So this is what I'm getting out of this. Now maybe you get something different out of it. But what I get out of it is let go of everything. Let go of all the baggage. Let go of all the stuff that would prevent you from going full force toward Christ. That's what I get out of this. Because when Peter heard that it was him, he jumped right into the sea. It says he cast, there's that word cast. Mm-hmm. He cast himself into the sea.
Come on.
Now, why did he do that?
Come on.
Well, he's trying to get to the Lord.
Come on.
And the other disciples came in a little ship. So you know this ship is big.
I mean, they need
small
help.
Ship. If you send a small ship out to a big ship, do you know how big that ship had to be for them to be on? That's pretty amazing. So the other disciples came in a little ship because they weren't far from the land, but they were about 200 cubits away, dragging the net with the fish. So they actually went out and saw that there was so much fish that they said they can't even pull it up into the ship. Let's go and take our little tugboat and go out and tug the net ashore, is what they did. And as soon as they came to the land, they saw a fire of coals there and fish laid thereon and bread. And Jesus said unto him, bring some of the fish that you just now caught. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153, for there and for all there were so many, yet was not the net broken. Then Jesus said unto them, Come and dine. And none of the disciples asked him, Who are you? Knowing that it was the Lord. Jesus then comes and takes bread. He gave them, and the fish likewise. This is now the third time that Jesus showed himself to his disciples after he was risen from the dead. Now, I forgot to even put that part in there.
That's a whole
All of
different,
this happened after the resurrection,
different.
Which is why they didn't immediately recognize him.
Because he had been crucified.
So let's go back. There were 153 fish in this net. Now you're thinking, oh, a little bluegill, a little crappie, a little tilapia or something, a little sway. That's what you're thinking. No, 153 fish that you catch out of the sea. You're talking about like marlins, tuna, big. You're talking big. Try to pull up 153 tunas or great marlins all at once. You're not pulling that up.
It was way more than that.
No, it says it was 153.
I believe it was
but
more
yet
than
the
that.
net didn't break. That in and of itself was amazing. But a marlin, how much can a marlin weigh? Let's go over now. Let's do some fun. How much does a marlin weigh?
What a way to come on the scene. You supposed to have been crucified, but you done came on the scene bearing gifts.
Now listen to me, because I'm looking at the answer here. Marlins can vary significantly in weight, with the Atlantic blue marlin reaching up to 1,810 pounds, and the black marlin exceeding 1,480 pounds. Generally, females are larger than males, with some blue marlins weighing over 1,900 pounds. 2,000 pounds is a ton. So imagine if you had 153 of those caught in the net.
And you trying to pull that in?
How much does a tuna weigh?
Whew.
Tuna. Because I think we relate to tunas a little better. If it was tuna, no, I don't want the price. How much does a tuna weigh? Not price. Oh, my goodness. I ain't even typing it right. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I ain't typing it right. Okay, how much does a tuna weigh? A tuna's weight varies by species, from the bullet tuna at about 4 pounds to the Atlantic bluefin tuna, that's a seafaring tuna, weighing up to 1,508 pounds.
Whoa.
Okay,
Whoa,
how much does
whoa.
a swordfish weigh?
Whoa.
Let's see, because a swordfish would be another large fish that you would get out of the ocean. A swordfish, the maximum reported weight of a swordfish is 1,500 pounds with, that's good enough. Okay, so when we're talking about fish that literally get pulled out of the sea, we're not talking the little fish that you catch at Benson Park Pond. We're talking 1,500-pound fish here.
Woo.
So now let's have a little more fun. Let's go to our calculator. And let's say 1,500 pounds. Let's go here. 1,500 times 153 fish. 229,500 pounds. Now, let's just call that 230,000 pounds. Convert 230,000 pounds to tons. Let's see what it says. 115 tons. So in theory, they could have caught 115 tons of fish.
Wow.
That was so much they couldn't pull it up in the nets, which totally makes sense.
Wow.
That they would need a dinghy or a towboat or a tugboat to go out and pull the net in if it was all big fish like this. Now, we don't know. But even if it was a 100-pound fish, even if it was a 50-pound fish, let's say it's a realistic number. Let's say it's a 50-pound fish times 153 of those suckers. That's still 7,650 pounds. That's almost 4 tons of fish.
Wow.
So this was not a small miracle. Like so many times we read in the scriptures and we just kind of gloss over what's in there. But when you start really breaking down, wait a minute, what's really happening here? You're out there, you didn't catch any fish, you're commercial fishermen, and there's a whole bunch of you guys all trying to split the profits.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy on the side calls out and says, oh, just put your net over there on the right. And you do it, and you come up with anywhere from 4 tons to 115 tons of fish.
Ooh.
That's a huge miracle. And this was Jesus after he resurrected from the dead. This was his 3rd time interacting with them.
Come on.
And it wasn't in no little way. It was a big way.
Yes.
And Jesus said in verse 12, and we're going to kind of end up here. He says, come and dine. And none of the disciples even bothered to ask him, who are you? Because they knew it was the Lord. And Jesus then came. He took the bread and he gave it to them and some of the fish that they got.
Wow.
And this is now the 3rd time that Jesus showed himself to the disciples after he was risen from the dead. And that's where we're going to end it right there. That your blessings, your miracle, the thing that you need the most from God, all you have to do is keep casting your cares on him, because he cares for you. His hand is strong and mighty. He can make up for lost time. He can heal your heart. He can give you the insight that you need to get past the mental labor that you have been doing about your issue. He can help you to move aside the depression, which is mental labor about the past. He can help you to remove anxiety, which is your mental labor about the future. And at the end of the day, he tells us that unless the Lord builds the house, you labor in vain that build it. That includes your mental labor, because he gives rest to his beloved, and that includes you. So keep casting your concerns on him and watch him do miraculous and mighty things in your life. Hallelujah. Listen to what he has to say. Follow his instructions and be obedient to what he leads you to do, and watch him do great things for you. In Jesus' name, that's the end of my talk.
Hallelujah.
Any last words, LuvLuv?
Hallelujah.
That's a good last word. Well, we love you this week, as always.
Cast your cares upon him, for he cares for you.
And keep casting them.
Yes,
it's a continual thing.
Don't just do it one time.
It's a continual process.
Over and over and over and over.
So we love you this week. Yes. I'm Lady J.
And I'm LuvLuv.
And we'll see you next time.
Ciao.